Okay, so something very crazy has recently happened. I'm still a bit shocked by it myself. But, hi, welcome back to, I guess, part 2 to the Undertale Yellow, Early Bag Neutral, and Early Bag True Process Ending guide video. Yeah, my guide got outdated literally less than 24 hours. How mind-boggling is that? A bit of context before I actually get into what I want to show off today. After I posted the guide video, I was starting to stream. And I was running EBTPE as celebration. And we were just kind of like joking around or whatever. We were talking about how, as of current, you couldn't have auto walk past Starlow because of weird fake clover shenanigans. Well, my chat had decided to try and crack the code, and they managed to do it. So now, it is actually possible to keep auto walk past Starlow for neutral and for TPE, and keep auto walk longer than intended, which is absolutely crazy. Before I do get into the skips for the second part of the guide, first off, go watch part 1 on speedrun.com, where you can learn the fundamentals and the core what we learned last time, and then this is going to continue where we left off from that guide video to keep it up to date. Second off, these skips are very advanced. I'm talking really, really advanced. So I recommend, for any new runners, just to stick to the first part of the guide and run with that for a bit. Once you're confident in that part of the guide, then come back to this one, and we can learn these skips together. I want to give a shout out to a lot of people for coming together, because we all came together on the Discord, again, link in the description. We all came together, and we all discussed these skips together. So, big shout outs to Blu Blur. Blu Blur was actually the one that found the Starlow skip, and another important skip to do with TPE. So shout outs to Blu Blur. Shout outs to Theta Juice for coming on to help us find skips. Shout outs to Keystocito, again for coming on and finding skips. And also shout outs to Issue, who also came on and was intrigued by our conversation. And we all just kind of started talking together. And unitedly, we have found some really cool skips, which in neutral, it allows you to keep the bag for the whole run, up until Flowey, of course, where that's obviously scripted and there's no outside world stuff. And for TPE, it gets you all the way past Greenhouse skip. There won't be any talk about like bag setups or any basic mainline stuff in this guide, because I'm assuming you guys have watched the first part where I've already explained all that stuff. Also, as for the second part of this guide, how it's going to be structured is that I'm going to be showing both variants of neutral and TPE steamworks side to side. I will show off the neutral skip and then the TPE skip, and then we're going to alternate like that. I was going to make 2 separate videos for neutral steamworks and TPE steamworks, but because TPE steamworks is shorter, I can just overlap them back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So that's how we're going to run it. We're going to run it like neutral, TPE, neutral, TPE, neutral, TPE, until we get to the point where we have to get rid of auto walk in TPE. It'll then be neutral for the rest of the video. I hope you guys enjoy. Sit back, relax, and here are the skips that we all found together, which can actually save time. So I've saved myself right here, mainly considering the fact that we actually have to do something a little bit different to get the Starlow skip. And this is also a neutral save, so you would have Corn Dog here, which I guess I can give myself real quick. Okay, so the reason why we're here is like we did in the last part. We're gonna bag Marla's cutscene, just like normal. But if you guys remember, we don't have our menu back here. We lose our menu by skipping this cutscene. Thankfully, because if we were to be able to save, we would lose the auto walk state. But thankfully, there is a card coming up which you can actually interact with. This one right here, which gives you a menu back, as you can see. It's really crucial to have a menu back here, because it allows us to actually do the Starlow scene. And, it gets really intricate. And I apologize for that, so I'm going to try to explain it in the best degree that I can. Thankfully, the start of the skip is identical. Identical whether you're doing neutral or TPE. It just changes a little bit whether you're sparing Starlow or killing Starlow for Neutral and TPE. I'm gonna have to explain this in parts because it's very complicated. Obviously, at this point, you would have opened a new game, you would have gone to the save point, then closed and got ready to go to walk. We're not gonna do that anymore. So instead, we're just gonna walk through. The first part of this skip is opening the bag on the cutscene trigger. All of you should be familiar with that. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you watch the first part, it's just doing this. Bagging the trigger. Pretty easy. Once you have bagged the trigger, you'll notice that the screen moves faster. And at some point, the screen will stop. And you'll see Starlow's hat on the top of the bag menu. When you see that, you want to close the bag, hold Auto Masher for some reason, really weird, and then either hit left or right. Depending on what direction you hit, it's going to change how the skip works. I recommend, because we all learned it this way, that you hit left. Because for some reason, in this one cutscene, hitting left makes Clover face right, and hitting right makes Clover face left. I don't know why, it's just really, really weird. So, I'll show that off. You're going to bag the cutscene. Once you see the cutscene stop, you want to close the bag, hold auto mash, tap left. Again, we're doing left example. Tap left until you see Clover facing right, and then you're going to open the bag again, which looks like this. Just like that. So now, you'll be set up perfectly for what we're about to do next. Once you get that positioning, bear in mind, you've got to be quick on this, because it's cycle-based, which is really silly, but you have to be quick. The next thing you have to do is move down in your bag so you don't accidentally drop everything into your bag. Auto-mash the cutscene, and then when you start to see Starlow's whip appear on the top of the screen, you want to get ready. Let go of Auto-masher, and you want to get ready. When you start to enter the battle, close the bag, and then immediately hit C. And then the whole idea, why this skip is so hard, you have to spare Starlow, the hit menu, every time an attack starts, so you don't move in the outside world. This is where it gets really, really brain-fucky, and I recommend practicing this a lot, because it can melt your brain a little bit. So, I will show it off. Walk up, back the cutscene. You see the camera stop. Close the bag. There you go, bag. And then down and down. Auto mash. You see the whip on the top. Let go of auto mash. X and then press C. Move around. And then space. C up. And now for All Stars attacks, you just want to be making sure you hit C, hit the menu. Just like this. And dodging the attacks like normal. It's a bit of a mindfuck, but you need to remember to keep your menu open. You should not be moving unless if menu's open. It's really hard to explain, but you can see through the video what I'm doing. And then, when you get to Starlow's lasso attack, you want to actually tap the opposite direction that you held. So because we press left, you want to press right with the menu not open, and vice versa. If you press right, it'll be left. So as you can see, coming up, here's the trains. Remember to hit C. And here's how I do it.
So, like that.
So you see, we hit right there. And what that's going to do is it's going to put Clover back into frame. Now for every attack, hit C. If you've done it correctly, Clover should be inside the window, and that means you haven't softlocked yourself. Again, I'm sorry, it's really complicated. It's also really hard to keep this in mind while you're talking. If it comes to the final attack, obviously you wouldn't be at level 6, by the way, but I'm playing on a standard neutral save. Then once you get here, you can then just kill Starlow, and you'll be right in frame, as you can see. Like I said, if you kill Starlow, obviously if you're doing neutral, you would kill Starlow, like this. As you can see now, we have auto walk back if we move. There we go. We have retained auto walk, and we haven't soft locked. So now you can have auto walk for steamworks. If you're sparing style, on the other hand, it's identical to the skip we just did neutral. But this time, you're not going to surrender. You're just going to do spare like normal. You can surrender, but it's very possible that you won't get the skip, get the glitch. So I recommend, if you're going to go for TPE, you just want to hit spare again. Which does lose time because Starlo does try to shoot you, but it's better off than soft locking. The final change will make the difference between if it's neutral and if it's TPE. Okay, so like I said, coming towards the final Starlo attack again. If you're doing TPE, you're just going to hold spare. Don't surrender, just hold spare. And if you did it right, hopefully I have. Yes, I have. If you spare Starlo, you'll be doing TPE, and the cutscene work is normal because Clover is at least in the window. If Clover is outside the window, then you screwed. You can't do the skip. And then you'll have auto walk for TPE Steamworks. That skip is very complicated, but if you can do it, it feels great. Also, by the way, that cutscene does not normally happen. It's because I chose to spare Starlo on the neutral save. That's what was in neutral. If it was TPE, obviously Starlo and Soroba would head up, and then you would follow them. But I just did it on the neutral save to save time. And then you would walk up, right? You would walk up. And then this Mailwell skip is, again, very easy to do. The trigger... The way I see the trigger is that these windows, once they have left the screen, then you'll be roughly one frame with the trigger. So all you gotta do is just walk up, bag, close. And there's a skip. That is the same for neutral and for TPE. Now for this cutscene. If you are doing TPE Steamworks, you haven't got to worry too much. All you do is just walk up, watch the cutscene, and then just walk into the door. You walk up, and then you're good to go. You walk into Steamworks with auto walk stays, and there's no issues. But unfortunately, neutral Steamworks doesn't have that luxury. If we try to walk up to the cutscene, as you can see, the cutscene does function like normal. As you see, Clover's auto-walking off. After the cutscene, it does this. After the cutscene, Clover disappears, and this is a soft lock. So then in my mind, I was like, okay, so if that happens when you soft lock, how about we just bag the Flowey cutscene, kind of like you would do in neutral anyway, or in neutral anyway, and then just linger around. Therefore, we won't have the soft lock. Like this. But if you do this way, there's another issue that creeps in. So you watch the cutscene, and then if you go for the door, you can't. For some reason, this door only works once the camera has actually, you know, is back fixed on Clover. As you can see, the camera isn't fixed on Clover, so you can't go for the door. So we have to find a way to fix Clover's camera so that it doesn't do this. What you essentially have to do is you have to bag the trigger, and then once trigger's bagged, hit down, and then start the cutscene. When Flowey pops off screen, you want to tap up once. And if everything goes to plan, the camera is not fixed because I did it wrong. Remember, these are new strats, chat, so there is no room for failure. Let's try that again. Okay, we have to hit down for longer. I think I got the timing wrong too. But eventually, you basically want to be in this little area, otherwise you will have the way camera issues. We see the camera start panning down, then tap up. And hopefully, if everything is done correct, it's not done correct. Oh, there we go. I fixed it. If the camera will eventually fix up, as you can see, the camera's now fixed, and then you can walk through the door. There's a bit of a distinction between entering TPE Steamworks and entering neutral Steamworks. Okay, so once you have entered either neutral Steamworks or TPE Steamworks, this is neutral Steamworks for the record. There is a lovely skip you can do called Pepto-Bismol skip, which was found by Zillicon. I didn't shout out Zillicon before the video, I apologize. Zillicon, you deserve a shout out, because I'm going to showcase your skip right now. So no matter if Flowey or if Soroba is at this cutscene, what Pepto-Bismol skip is, it just skips needing to do the 2 puzzles left and right here. You can just immediately go up and walk through. And after you activate the switch, it will still activate Steamworks. That's what Pepto-Bismol skip is. Again, shout out to Zillicon for showcasing off the strat. As for the switch itself, you want to make sure when you hit this switch, again, it applies to TPE and to neutral, you hit it from this side of the switch. If you hit it from the top side, this happens. The cutscene never starts. And Clover is infinitely sliding up into heaven. So to fix that, you want to hit the switch from this side. Which also looks really goofy, because you'll see Clover just walking, sliding over here. And this fixed the cutscene. And then you just walk through. You can walk out of bounds here, just to walk through a bit faster. And now we're going to talk about this area. If you are doing neutral Steamworks, you are totally fine. You're totally cool. All you do is just walk up like you normally would, and then do Vents 1. And Vents 1, I will showcase off some strats to Vents 1. I will show off how I normally do it without the auto walk to compare. This guy is going to assume that you already know how to control space before vents, like this. You first off run up and line yourself up with this edge right here, as you can see, and then just hold left. Whilst you're holding left, there's a pattern I follow in without auto walk, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 1. And if I was to add inputs to that, your inputs would be 1, 2, 3, 4, down, 1, up, down. So I will show it off right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 1. That's how you would do Vents 1 blind. I'll slow it down so you guys can see it better.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 1.
But because now that we have the auto walk, the actual setup is a bit different. If you run through it properly like you would before, you will notice that you will always get caught on the 4th vent. As you can see. So, the way you fix this is you control space on that 4th vent, like so, and then tap up. And that's it. that's literally Vents 1. Walk up, vents, up, and then down. That's how you do Vents 1 if you want to run straight through it, or alternatively, you can just go out of bounds and skip the whole thing. Like that. That's how you do Vents 1 with auto walk. In neutral. Now, TPE is very different. As for TPE Steamworks, this was a tough shell to crack. Because we generally thought at one point that the auto walk ended sooner than expected. And I'll get into that reason why now. The first part is Yapping Skip, which Yapping Skip is now really easy. Because all you gotta do is go out of bounds and enter from the top. That part isn't a problem. The problem lies with the second half of Yapping Skip. In casual gameplay, you would back the trigger and then walk off and then get Soroba to spawn, right? But however, Yapping Skip is now different because of a little funny thing that can happen. So I'll showcase the issue that we had. So you would back the trigger, which we'll do now. There you go, back the trigger. And then get Soroba to spawn, and then I'll go out of bounds for this one. You do Vents 1 again. But once you got to here, this happens. As you can see, I can't move. I'm soft locked, and Soroba is doing that, which is really weird. The reason why this is happening is because we're still auto walking. You'll notice if I hit M, it fixes the cutscene. Because my auto walk state is turned off because of holding M, or pressing M from the debug menu. Meaning that if we were to do it this way, we would have to stand perfectly still. Which is impossible with auto walk. So, the original strategy we had was to do this instead. All these series of skips coming up was found by Blur. So again, big shout out to Blur. So the way we were doing it originally, to compensate for this, walk up, bag this cutscene, get Soroba back. So we're gonna walk back and forth. There we go. There's Soroba. And then when you get to the switch, you want to bag. So as you can see, get to here, open bag. You hear the click noise, close the bag and hold down left. So, as you can see, that doesn't softlock us. But the unfortunate thing is, we don't have Soroba in our party anymore. Which means, realistically, all you can get to from this point is you can do axis skip, enter axis skip is the same. And then you would have to save and bring Soroba back, because you wouldn't be able to get past Vents 2. So we thought at this point, it was done. Auto walk for TPE ended at Vents 2. However, thanks to Blur has found a way to bypass Vents 1 in TPE whilst keeping Soroba technically in your party. I say technically for a reason, I'll get into that in a minute, but I will be showing it off. And the way we do it is by duplicating Soroba. You cannot make this up. So the first part of it is the same. We're gonna skip yapping skip by going through the opposite end. After walking through, we're gonna bag the trigger, so we don't soft lock. Just like this. And then leave the room, get Soroba to spawn, but this time go back. We're gonna go back, and we're gonna grab Soroba the proper way. Which means when you enter this room, you're gonna get this cutscene, so skip it. We're now gonna actually grab Soroba. So, here we go. So here's Soroba, we're gonna grab it this time. Now that we've grabbed Soroba, we can head back. And if we head back now to Vents 1, you'll notice that Soroba's been duplicated. We now have 2 Sorobas. So now with the Soroba duplication, you can now go over here, bag the switch. Just like that. Close the bag and then walk off. And because of that, we now technically have Soroba in our party with the auto walk. Which, this prevents Vents 2 breaking, and we can get auto walk further than expected. The only issue with this skip, with this technique, is that this Soroba is technically a fake Soroba, because obviously we've duplicated Soroba, so we've got an extra one. There'll be an issue with fake Soroba later down in the guide. But yeah, that's the whole concept of how to get Vents 1 done with technically Soroba in your party. Okay, so back to Neutral Steamworks here. Once you got past Vents 1, you're gonna head up, just like normal. Enter Axis is exactly the same if you were to do it in casual speedrunning. You've got to be careful about not accidentally getting stuck in a wall while you're doing it. You're very prone to. So you can walk up, you can do an auto bag right around here. Just like that. Enter down below. And then when Axis leaves, upright, down left. So that hasn't changed. And TPE Steamworks essentially behaves the exact same. With TPE Steamworks, it's just the bag's a bit different where the cutscene is, but you skip, enter Axis the exact same way like you would in standard TPE. So you would walk on through, your bag is roughly around, here. And then you would just walk on down, wait for Axis to spawn, and then upright, down left. So thankfully, anti-Axis isn't changed at all. Bless me. Okay, so after Axis chase, what you actually want to do is you want to skip the Jandroid here. Fun fact, if you don't run into any scripted encounters, you won't get any random encounters. And this also applies for TPE 2, you just walk up and skip this. Now, Vents 2. Vents 2 is very different compared to standard neutral and standard TPE. And the way you do it is very different. If we try and do Vents 2 the way we normally do it, which is bag the trigger, auto mash, close the bag and then head up. You can see it does work. like intended. But once you get off the manta ray, your auto walk state is gone. So we don't want to do that. We want to keep auto walk. So instead, we're actually really thankful that in Neutral we're actually really thankful of this one little quirk that is in the code here for Neutral. You bag the cutscene like normal, but don't auto mash. Just wait. You notice Clover starts to move up. Close the bag and walk off. Hold up left. Transition. And then you can just walk through and keep auto walk. So for Neutral, pretty self-explanatory events too. As for Pacifist, it's on the same lines as the Neutral events too, but there's an extra step. Because we'll do the exact same setup as you can see. We're going to bag this cutscene. You'll notice that because of Soroba, Clover isn't moving up here. Which, you know, isn't good. So here's where it gets a bit tricky. You want to auto mash. But be careful here. When you hear the music come back, stop auto mashing. And then close the bag, and then you want to manually skip this text. And there'll be a choicer. There'll be a choicer that says, like, write the Mansory or something. I forgot what it says. But once you see that choicer, you'll see Clover start to move up again from auto walk. Once that choicer appears, hit no, and then you can do the same thing in Neutral, which is like this. Thank you for your trust. My help, blah, blah, blah. Take a ride. No. Say no, and then you can just walk through. But you have to say no. If you say yes, you'll hop on the Manso, which gets rid of the glitch. And also, a side effect as well, off of Vents 2. If you're doing TPE, you'll be fine. You'll just move to the next room. You can move to the next room, you're totally cool. There's nothing to worry about. But in Neutral, there is a slight difference after you do Vents 2, because of the way you set up the Vents 2 skip. You'll notice that we keep a text box open. Which means once we leave this area, then we're not going to have a menu. Which isn't good. So, to get your menu back, all you have to do is hit the save point. Hit the save point and your menu will be back. If you did... Yep, see, that's what happens. You don't have your menu back, so what you would do is you would save here. So, remember that. In Neutral Vents 2, you want to save after to get your menu back. In TPE Vents 2, you can just walk through. And sticking with Neutral, we've now got the Axis Chases, and there are some differences in between them, which I will show off. For Axis Chase 1 in Neutral, usually in a standard Neutral TPE run, this is what you would do. You would... In fact, I'll turn off auto walk to show it even better. Here's what you would do. You would do the bag setup, open bag, and then we get down here, open bag again. And then you just run through the room. But with auto walk, it's actually a bit different. You want to do an auto bag, and then when you get to here, then open your bag. And then you can literally go out of bounds, and you can just run through the whole thing. So head down left, you'll feel a stop. Hold left. Go up here. And then remember when you're entering the transition to hold space, so you can actually get your menu back for Axis Chase 2. So, like that. So now you have a menu for Axis Chase 2, and Axis Chase 2 is no different. You literally just... you can either YOLO bag it or auto bag, doesn't matter. I'm gonna auto bag. That. And then bag. Like that. And then if you're really cool, you can close this bag like Yapping Skip to bag the Flowey cutscene coming up. Which looks like this, if I can do it. That was too early. But you get the point. That is Axis Chase 1, Axis Chase 2 with auto walk in Neutral. But TVE's Axis Chase 1 and 2 are very different. So you think like, oh, isn't this room the same as Axis Chase 1? I'm gonna save first. Can you just like do the same thing? Auto bag the trigger. And then just bag this. You think they'll be fine, right? You can just run through? Yeah, it doesn't work that way. Because if you're out of bounds at all, or if you're too far ahead at all, then this happens. You mash. You get caught. And if you actually try to, like, I don't know, be smart, and, like, auto bag, and then not do that. If you were to, like, wow, I suck. If you were to auto bag the cutscene, then auto bag this one, and then, I don't know, like, leave the room, well, A, you wouldn't have Soroba in your party, which makes this next skip crash, and you also don't have your menu, so when you press C, you soft lock. So, soft lock, crash. So, yeah. So, unfortunately, if you are doing, True Pacifist early back to True Pacifist ending, you have to do this whole chase normally, the first half anyway. The cool little thing is, because of the chase, you can actually catch up to Soroba. You can see we're slowly catching up to Soroba because of Auto Walk, which is really funny. You can basically be on pace. Look at that. Look how close we are to Soroba right now. Usually Soroba's really fast, so, you know. Also, be careful to get caught there, that can happen. And then you watch cutscene like normal. So that isn't changed from, like, standard TPE. Though, there is a funny little thing with Axis Chase 2. Really little funny thing. There's two ways you can go around it. I'm gonna save. You can either, I don't know, let's say YOLO bag the trigger. Not like that. Again, you can YOLO bag or auto bag, whatever you want to do. You can auto bag the trigger. And then try and dodge, which is really hard to do. Or, you can do the funniest strat of this. Go out of bounds, and then YOLO bag or auto bag. I'm gonna auto bag this one. So you auto bag. And then run through. And you'll notice that Axis can't hit you. Like, he could try as he might. He could not hit us, because we're out of bounds. So, if you want an easier Axis 2, just go out of bounds, bag the trigger, auto bag a YOLO bag, and then just run through. Axis can literally not hit you. How goofy is that? And those are the core differences between Axis Chase 1 and 2 with Neutral and TPE early bag. Long story short, you'll have a very easy Axis Chase 1 for Neutral, and you'll have a very easy Axis Chase 2 for TPE. Kind of like a pick your poison case, you know? Oh, by the way, that trick was skipped by me, so... Yeah, the whole Axis Chase 2 skip with TPE, that was skipped by me. Okay, so I've used, like, the debug mode here to actually showcase this off, because usually during Axis Chase 2 for Neutral, you would have the cutscene here. But if you were to do the yapping skip, like, text box thing, where you get it perfectly on time. Let's just say we did it for shits and giggles, right? The flowy bag here is identical. So you just run through, bag a trigger, and then hold that to start your menu. So Neutral, there are no differences. TPE, however, you actually are forced to do Pop-Tart skip. If you don't do Pop-Tart skip during the run, this happens. So you watch the cutscene, Soroba shows a Pop-Tart, and then you're soft-locked. Because this cutscene is really quirky. So, note, if you are running EBTPE, make sure you know how to do Pop-Tart skip. Which looks like that. Otherwise, you will be stuck. Switching back to Neutral with this one. We're now going to be talking about Greenhouse skip. Which, again, is really easy with the auto walk. So, if you did, like I said, we did with just before. If you did Axis Chase 2, had the found you, and did like the whole yapping skip thing, where you got it perfect, you would naturally skip Flowey. Just like this, and then you just walk on through. Nothing to worry about, no issues whatsoever. You're just gonna walk on through, and then for Greenhouse skip, you just hold left. And there's Greenhouse. That one is pretty self-explanatory. No issues there for Greenhouse skip at all. TPE, steamworks though, this is where Auto War gets kind of sad, because we're coming to a close so far on the Auto Walk for TPE, and I'll get into why right now. So after this cutscene, after you do Pop-Tart skip, which I'm gonna save beforehand actually. So we'll do Pop-Tart skip again. Just like that. You'll notice that when you leave after Pop-Tart skip, your menu's gone. You hit C and you soft lock. So you naturally think, okay, that's fine, because usually with TPE, you would just run to the flowery cutscene and that fixes your menu, and also brings Sora back to your party so the game doesn't crash. Well, we run to flowery, and the same issue that happened with Events 1 also happens here. So again, we can't interrupt the cutscene. The reason why the cutscene works now is because I hit M, which stops my auto walk, which makes Clover sit perfectly still, which, in a casual run, is impossible. So, to unfortunately compensate for this, which is honestly tragic, we do Pop-Tart skip, and then we're gonna auto mash the UGPS TV here to give us our menu back. And then we're just gonna skip right by Flowey. And then greenhouse skip is exactly the same, you're just gonna walk on through. And unfortunately, this is where auto walk would end in TPE. Because unfortunately you have to save here and then reload to fix your auto walk state. The reason why is because now that we haven't got Soroba in our party, also we can skip Televis here, by the way, just by going up here. Now that we haven't got Soroba in our party, if we go into the multiple paths cutscene in TPE, it crashes. So, yeah, this is the point in the run where you have to get rid of auto walk to make sure the game actually functions. Because we have no way of getting Soroba back. We can't duplicate Soroba again. There's no way to duplicate Soroba. As for now, it could be proven in the future. There is no way to duplicate Soroba past that point. So you reload your save, grab Soroba, and then you would flee Televis like normal. And then the cutscene plays as normal, and the rest of the run is identical to True Path's ending. So this is where the auto walk state for EBTPE ends. But thankfully, for EBN, that's not the case. So yeah, thankfully for EBN, we don't have this issue with TPE. The same issue as TPE, sorry. Because, of course, in EBN, we don't have Soroba at all, because it's neutral. So thankfully, we can actually keep the auto walk state past that room. For the rest of the video now, we're now talking about neutral and neutral only. That is it. All this applies to neutral. No more pacifist neutral swapping. You don't have to save, you can just immediately walk through. You want to auto walk past Televis right here. And then this cutscene works as normal. And usually in casual runs, you would just walk the cutscene, hit done, whatever. Cool, cool, cool. But instead, we're just going to bag the trigger, which is roughly around here. And then just walk the door. Awesome. And we're now coming across probably the silliest thing that it was me, Blur, and Keisto. All of us teamed together and discovered this little quirk right here. Now, usually in EBG NZW, this is where you would save and reload and get rid of your auto walk, because the acid room, which you're coming towards, was at the time impossible until we have made some new developments, which I will be showing off. So instead of giving your auto walk state, walk through here. This will skip the Seussberg, which is useful, and this is acid room. You can auto bag this. Why is my menu gone? My menu shouldn't have left there. I don't know why it did. Oh, because the flowery cutscene. Okay, so ignore me. I forgot about the flowery bag. With that flowery bag in the very first laboratory room, remember that you have to save to get your menu back. Remember to do that. Otherwise, you'll be fucked here. Like I was gonna say, you can bag this cutscene, just do auto bag, but just mash through it. The reason why this room was theoretically impossible with the auto walk was because of this. Not because of that. That was weird. That was a stroke of luck. Excuse me? There you go. Because of this glitch. Which makes Clover and the item do that, which soft locks you. And you will realize that it's very easy to do this. There's a chance that it appears on your head, but sometimes it doesn't. And, this isn't good. So, it was theoretically, it was basically proven impossible to do this room without auto walk. Until me, Kisto, and Blur all teamed together to create the pixel perfect grabbing, yes, pixel perfect grabbing, to make sure these items don't glitch out 100% of the time. And this is where I'm going to take you guys to a video of mine. Give me one quick second. So, this is a video I made for speedrunning.com. Not for speedrunning.com, sorry, for the speedrunning Discord. That shows off how to pixel perfectly grab the hydrogen of the chloride so you don't soft lock making the acid with also walk. As you'll see, you back the cutscene. Auto mash the cutscene away. And now we're doing the first lineup. And the lineup looks like this. So it's kind of hard to tell because the image is very blurry. But you'll notice that Clover's toe, of all things, is perfectly aligned where it's in flush with the edge of this stool right here. And there's the recreation to show Clover's shoe and the stool. It's perfectly flush. It wouldn't be like a little bit off or a little bit far. It is perfectly connected. It's perfectly flushed down the middle. Once you get this flush right here, you want to start, you don't want to move and have Clover auto walk down, which you'll see now. So Clover can start walking down. Once you get to around here, which we showed in the video, once Clover's left toe is in flush between these two tiles, start to hold the auto masher here. The reason that we don't hold the auto masher early is because you may have a chance of picking up this item right here, which can soft lock you, if you didn't get the pixel perfect. But by doing it this way, by waiting until right here, holding auto mash, you will pixel perfect, grab this hydrogen, and it won't glitch out. So once you grab that, you're gonna do the trick on the door and then throw it in. And then you're actually gonna also walk through this little gap here. Just give this cutscene away. And now we're gonna set up the next flush, which is gonna help us pixel perfect grab the chloride. And the next flush looks like that. So you'll notice that on the bottom of Clover's feet will be perfectly flush. The bottom of Clover's feet will be perfectly flush on the blue line of the cabinet. As you can see, there's the blue line, there's Clover's feet. It's perfectly in flush right on the line, which again looks like this, a recreation. There's Clover's shoe, there's the top of the cabinet. Once you have this flush, you're good to go. Hold right a little bit. And make sure you start auto mashing from this side, like it says here. Because if you do it from the left side, then you have a chance of auto mashing this cabinet, which can soft lock because there's an item in it. So once you get to this end, let it auto walk you left, and then hold auto mash again. And if you do it correctly, then you'll have the hydrogen chloride out of the bug, and you can throw them in and start making the acid. Now, back to UTY. So, back in Neutral Steamworks, we're now going to do the exact same thing I just showed you. So we're going to buy this cutscene. Hello, Flowey? Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot about that. You already bought this cutscene. So, now you've seen the actual tutorial on how to do the perfect pixel setups. I'm going to quickly do them right now.
Now, perfect. 2, 2. Also walk in this room. And then we're going to flush with the line. Perfect. Last wall mash.
Got it. Beautiful. Now, when you throw the chloride in, I haven't tested this, so I don't know if this would happen. But don't enter it from the right side. because I think it's a possibility. I haven't tested it, so if you want to test it, feel free. That if you enter from the right side, whilst you're doing the mixing puzzle, Clover will auto-walk right and possibly the transition, which could be a soft lock. So instead, enter from the left. It does mean that after you do the switch puzzle, or the mixing puzzle, you have to move Clover back into frame. But it's not a big issue. And then you would walk all the way back into frame, and grab the acid. Now there's one last final fuck you in this room. Actually putting the acid in the door. Which is why I'm going to save here. Because you can just naturally do this. But there is a chance, which didn't happen there, thank God. But there is a chance that the acid will push you into the door. Which, soft locks you. So we got lucky here. But I'll try and see if I can get it. There it is, right there. So that can happen. Which is, not good. If that happens, you're just kind of like, oh, well then, screw you. So, to make sure that doesn't happen, what you're gonna do, because you can do it normally, but it has a chance. You're just gonna do a bag setup. I know, very weird. Doing a bag setup, with auto walk. Bag setup, and then hit Z on the door. Hit X to close your bag, and then move as far away as you can from the cutscene. So I'm just gonna like move myself, I don't know, here. I haven't tested where the safe zone is, but I'm just gonna move myself here. That wasn't it, clearly. But there is a way to guarantee this not happening. The bit of trial and error. I'll say like here. That's it. There you go. I think if you do it from the strip in the middle, you should be fine. But you'll be thrown to some random area that's not the door, so you won't just, you know, get fucked over by a silly soft lock like that. If you want to do it normally, it's a chance. If you want to do it that way, it's also a chance. It's a final fuck you if it happens, but you just gotta get lucky. But I believe if you do it from the strip, you should be fine most of the time. Like that. Yeah, you'll be fine. So you mainly do it from the bottom line of the strip, and you should most likely 9 out of 10 be okay. So once you're finally out of Acid Room, which is really painful again, you have to get used to it if you're going to practice this. You're just going to walk through. Walk through here, and then walk down into the elevator. Or into the door. There is a mail cutscene. You can also bag it, which I'll do now. And then just run through. And then as for computer, you can just hold left instead of actually using the computer. And now for the axis skip, which you can actually skip this flowery cutscene here if I save. Usually, you would walk up, intro the cutscene, and then crash the game because because you actually spawned 2 floweries. Now that I didn't know of. That is fucking hilarious. But that was not what I was gonna say. So, you know, casually you wouldn't softlock there, but it's funny, so we allow it. You would naturally just wait for the cutscene, try and save, and not softlock there. But instead, we're gonna do something different to actually skip this flowery cutscene a little bit, but not too much. You want to auto-bag the cutscene, so CC down to Z. Auto-bag it. And then what we want to do, once you get to here, get as close to the door as you can, and then you want to auto-mash the cutscene. When Flowey starts spoiling the frameless pellets, run to the door. Like this. Like that. And if you do it correctly, you'll have your menu. Which is perfect, because we actually need our menu to skip access. And funny enough about access, I'm going to save here. You actually have to YOLO bag access. For a funny reason. If I try auto bagging access, like that, that happens. Which, as you may have guessed, it gets rid of your menu. So now I can't hit C and skip the last mail wheel. So for this axis, you actually want a YOLO bag. There you go. You get your menu. And if worst comes to worst, if you can't do a YOLO bag with auto walk, you can just do an auto bag like this. And then you can touch the save point, which gives you menu back. So if you do mess up, access skip in that way, you can just use the save to get your menu back. And then final mirror skip gets around here, auto bag or YOLO bag, move through, enter elevator. And then whilst you're entering elevator, get another game of Undertale Yellow open, ready for when Flowey messed you over. And then the final skip! We're down to the final skip, which is, again, the Flowey bag. The final Flowey bag in neutral. You keep the auto walk past then, so you run through, and then auto bag, and walk through. And that is the final use of auto bag, or of auto walk even, in neutral. At this point, you would, what's the word? At this point, you would watch the Marlet cutscene, you have Flowey take over your save, and then you would reload your second Undertale file to start Neutral Flowey. So yeah, it's actually really exciting how for EBN, you actually keep auto walk for the entire run, minus Flowey. And fun fact proven by Theta, it was actually theorized, like, what if we had auto walk past Flowey? Like, what if we had auto walk during the Flowey cutscenes? Yeah, it crashes your game during the story bit. So, yeah. That ain't happening, unfortunately. Yeah, all these skips are still very, very fresh. So, what's the word? We're still kind of learning as we're going, but the fact that we've managed to take EBN and make it last the whole run is ridiculous. And the fact we managed to get to the second half of steamworks with TPE, it's crazy. But like I said, guys, big shoutouts to everyone involved in the creation of this video. I'll list them off again: Blur, Kisto, Theta Juice, Issue, Zillacon. The fact that we all just came together and made this happen is a miracle. The fact you guys managed to outdate my guide less than 24 hours is crazy, and I love that. So yeah, I hope this guide helps you guys out. Again, I recommend learning the first guide before this one, because all the skips are a lot more complicated. Yeah, this would be added as an extension to the guide for EBN TPE. Apart from that, guys, I'll be linking the Spear in Discord and Spear.com in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and take care.